Hi, I'm Hope, and this is my story. So I have always had a really strong faith. I grew up Catholic, went to Catholic schools when I was younger, and I got a really strong, learned a lot of faith through my dad. Going to church every weekend and just being Hispanic, we really had a lot of faith in our family. So I never had an issue with believing in God and always having Him on my side. There was a time when I started getting older where we just started going away from going to church every week and things like that. So I kind of went away from that. Eventually I grew up and I got married, and my husband and I tried to find a place that we belonged together in a church. He was Lutheran, I was Catholic, so we tried to mix those two together. The kids were all baptized Catholic. But we couldn't find a place that we really belonged. We tried different churches and they scared us, so we just kind of stayed away for a little while. And then a friend of ours recommended coming to the Journey, and they kept bugging us about coming in, and we finally were like, okay, let's go try this out. We're gonna get it over with and say, okay, we tried it out, it wasn't for us. We walked in that first Sunday and we were probably some of the better dressed people there. We were, had polos on and things like that. And it was very laid back from what I grew up with and what he grew up with. And I remember listening to the song that the band was playing. They were playing Journey, and it was just like, wow, where are we at? And then I remember going into the service and Paul was talking, and it was like he knew we were going to be there that day, and he was going to sit there and talk directly to us with the message that he had. And it was then that we knew that we belonged here at the Journey. So that was 5 years ago, and we jumped in feet first into everything of volunteering, and the kids loved it, and this became our second home. After that, we kind of just started trying to let go of the negative and trying to let him into, and thinking, okay, no matter what happens, in the end, it always works out somehow for us. We don't see the whole trail that it takes to get to the end of it, but we do see what happens at the end result thing. So the last year, I've really been, with COVID and things like that, our families started to come back together, us and our 3 kids. And I started to think about my immediate family. I have a relative that just completely stopped talking to myself, my husband, and my kids, just completely dropped us. And it was really hard because that's not how we were raised as a family. So it was really hard to sit there and try and understand why God would forgive him and when he's continuously doing these things, I guess. And God and I were at odds, and I wouldn't say that I was angry with him, but we were at odds over this specific topic, which was really kind of hard because I couldn't understand how he could forgive somebody for continuously doing things over and over and over again, never learning their lesson. And then there were other people that were continuously trying to do the right things all the time and striving to be better. So I was trying to come to terms with that. And about 4 months ago, I kind of finally realized that, you know what, it's okay that I have these questions with God. It's okay that he and I have, wouldn't say we have arguments, but I think of him as being at odds with him every now and then because I don't understand everything that he has planned for me. I don't understand that he has plans for everybody. But I started to understand a little bit more that I don't have to understand everything that he wants me to do with my life or everything that he has in store for my life, but I kind of have to let it go and I have to trust him. I got to have that faith, which is so hard to sit there and do as a person and an individual. It's not easy. It's not easy at all to sit there and completely let it go and have faith. But I know that it's okay to have those moments where you sit there and you doubt, talk it out and things like that with him. And I literally have conversations with him. I literally say, okay, God, this is going on. What are we going to do about it? How are you going to help me? Do I need to understand this? And just talk to him. I also know that it's okay to say that I'm at odds every now and then with God because I'm still learning a lot about God and having that immediate faith. And I know that I will probably never 100% be okay with everything, but I have to be okay with the way that things are turning out because I know in the end he will always have my back. My story was about being at odds with God, but now I'm learning to be more patient and taking the time to understand things and why he does what he does and begin to have more of that faith with God and what he does for us on a daily basis.